This is Taiwan Cable. I'm Yang Guangshun. Can we blame the Taiwanese people for not taking defense seriously because of the politicians they elected? I don't think so. In fact, that idea is both misleading and dangerous. In recent months, many American officials, members of Congress, and experts have come to Taiwan. Others have spoken on Taiwanese media. They have expressed concern about Taiwan's defense, as well as the boycott initiated by Taiwan's opposition parties against special defense budgets and U.S. arms sales. They have done so in letters, congressional hearings, and think tank seminars. They keep sending the same message. If Taiwan does not take its own defense seriously, why should the United States care more, even at the cost of American lives? This is not a new question in Washington. Some people even joke that Taiwan will fight to the last American soldier. I believe these are legitimate and understandable questions. Undersecretary of War Elbridge Colby once called it a tough love for Taiwan. But here's the key question. Who are they criticizing? Taiwanese people or Taiwanese politicians? Most of the time, the pressure is aimed at politicians, either through letters or direct meetings. Senator Dan Sullivan even blamed the KMT and opposition parties for playing a dangerous game by cutting Taiwan's defense budgets. So, how have the opposition parties responded? The Kuomintang says it supports strengthening Taiwan's defense, but in practice, it has been the main force cutting defense budgets and blocking U.S. arms sales. During her visit to China earlier this month, KMT Chair Zheng Liwen said there should be birds, not missiles, in the sky, and fish, not warships, in the sea. She also said drones should deliver bubble tea, not missiles. Meanwhile, Admiral Samuel Paparo, the commander of Indo-Pacific Command, said in a recent congressional hearing that Taiwanese people are more willing to fight for their country than Ukrainians were before the Russian invasion. He is right. In recent polls, more than 60% of Taiwanese are willing to defend their homeland and support the special defense budget President Lai Ching-te proposed. So, the people are not the problem. But here is where the narrative becomes dangerous. Taiwan's opposition parties claim they represent mainstream public opinion and therefore have a mandate from the people. This creates two effects. First, Beijing can promote the idea that China wants peace, while the United States is pushing Taiwan toward war. Second, politicians can use the Taiwanese people as a human shield against the blames, arguing that their policies reflect the will of the majority. In fact, this is exactly what Beijing argued after the current DPP administration was elected in 2024. This narrative became even stronger after the Grand Recall movement last year, when recall efforts against KMT politicians failed. But that interpretation is misleading. The Grand Recall movement was not a referendum on national security. Its results were shaped largely by local factors, such as voter mobilization. Voters were not choosing a president or party list legislators, elections where national security issues are more central. History shows that national-level issues such as defense and cross-strait relations, do not translate as strongly in local elections as they do in presidential elections. That is why, over the past decade, the Democratic Progressive Party, which supports stronger sovereignty and defense, has won 3 presidential elections, while the KMT often performs well in local elections due to its strong mobilization network. So, the argument that Taiwanese people do not care about defense just because of election outcomes is flawed. Elections involve many issues, and not everyone is a single-issue voter. All politics is local is true in Taiwan as well. Most people focus on kitchen table issues rather than topics like geopolitics, especially in local politics. In conclusion, Taiwanese people are willing to fight for their country. They support stronger defense. The real obstacle is politicians who gain power through democracy and then weaken it. At the same time, more Taiwanese people need to understand one thing. Every vote they cast sends a message to the world, and the world is watching closely.